Hi guys, welcome to this special edition of Authentic Talks. You asked a question, so I'm here to answer. What is my opinion of Black History Month? Stay tuned, I'm going to let you know what I think coming up next. Hi you guys, welcome back to the show. I have a surprise for you. I have 3 guests that will be joining me today that's going to share their personal opinion of what Black History Month means to them. And we also have a niece that sent us, we asked her what was her personal opinion of Black history, and she sent us an email all the way from Korea. And so we're going to read her opinion of what Black History Month means to her. And so I wanted to not allow this month to go by without answering that question of what does it mean to me? And I reached out to find out what it meant to a few other people as well. So I'm going to share that. Don't go anywhere, you guys. Stay tuned because I have an HBCU student coming right up to share her personal opinion of what Black History Month means to her. Hi, Taquala.
Hey, Shanta, how are you?
I am good. I'm excited to have you here. What is your opinion of Black History Month?
That we have to take full advantage of not only just February, but the history that serves our Black community in general. For me, it's being in tune with, for my career, Black mental health that has paved the way, and not only like recognizing the history, but understanding what they had to go through and did for us and for our mental. And not only just recognizing or highlighting what they want us to highlight, slaves and all of this stuff that it is relevant, but also highlighting our heroes, highlighting doctors, highlighting lawyers that paved the way for us. It really has become more of like a social media thing. It's kind of been like up to us to celebrate our own history now. Like growing up, it was like big to hear about Martin Luther King and heroes that have been highlighted for decades, but not so much of doctors, the people who made that stoplight and things like that. So I think it's really been like up to us to kind of like celebrate our own history rather than hearing about it in school. I mean, I do go to an HBCU and I would think I would hear more about it, but like in my department, it's just psychology. I mean, yes, I would hear about psychologists that have paved the way up to now, being that it is Black History Month, but other than that, more relevancy, no, I haven't. It's more social media and you celebrating Black History Month, not so much of hearing about it in school, making it more relevant for students to know their history.
You attend Alabama A&M, which like you just said is a HBCU. What is it that you are passionate about?
I'm a grad student here majoring in counseling psych. So what's been big for me, and I'm not trying to like single out our culture, but mental health for us has been so big for me. And for past experience up to now, I realized why I'm majoring in psychology is to really give back to our community in the way that we deserve for mental health.
What have you noticed as far as mental health within our community?
Oh wow, it's totally stigmatized. I feel like when I bring up the word mental health, our community is like, is that a bad thing? Or like think it is a bad thing to even talk about it or recognize that it's health in general. But we talk about everything else that's in health, physical health, everything like that besides mental health. And it's been so frowned upon that if we do seek help, it's something bad, like you're labeled as crazy or psychotic or things like that. That shouldn't be. Like we all need to tap into what's really going on in our minds, whether it's good or bad.
I definitely agree with that. It's almost like taboo.
Yes, like what is mental health for us?
Can you walk me through what that's like? You go through each illness like one by one and learn them, or?
So it's mainly like by chapter, and we'll start focusing on whether a psychologist or either like you said, just focusing on a word, and then we'll go into like a made up like therapy session if your client like is labeled as bipolar. How do you know that somebody is bipolar? Mainly educating ourselves on what it is, how it's diagnosed, and what are proper ways to even communicate with someone that is actually bipolar, or that actually has anxiety instead of joking around with it, because you could do something crazy and someone thinks you're bipolar or you're just simply reacting. If you are bipolar, we'll go into like stigmatisms or things that trigger what is bipolar, and just practice more on how to communicate with people that are, such as a client that might have that issue. But what really caught my attention is dealing with trauma. For that, with the Black community, it's been like okay for us to just deal with things and not really open back up our wounds and talk about it and how it affects us. So knowing that you've dealt with a lot of bad past experiences and wondering why things are triggering you presently is because those trauma, those things that you've been through that you never got to talk to someone about. So that's been a real eye-opener for myself, not just in general for the Black community, but for myself, realizing that some things are traumatic and that I haven't talked about. It kind of opened my eyes to new triggers, or this is coming from something that I haven't dealt with. And some things like that, we just go through life thinking it's okay, but it's not. So trauma has really been a big focus point for me, like an eye-opener.
So once you complete your degree, that's an area you're probably gonna look into?
Mine would strictly be mental health, some past traumatic experience. That's what I would want to focus on. Changed mind, fixed vision. It was always like, you want to instantly look at what's positive, because so quickly we look at something negative and it changes our mind. You focus on something negative and you start to see negative things happen. So when you change your mind and fix your lens and focus on what's positive, that will help you fix your vision on whatever is going on, whether it is past or present. You focus on that, whatever small good, just focus on it and make it more relevant in your life.
Thank you so much, Taquala, for sharing your opinion of what Black History Month means to you. For myself, I feel like it depends on what area you live in as to how and when you would celebrate and how much emphasis is put on it. For me, it's on social media at this time that I see the biggest impact, or the reminder that this month of February is Black History Month. It doesn't change much in my day-to-day life. I do know that it does make me take time to want to acknowledge people from the past, like Daniel Hale Williams, who performed the first open heart surgery. His patient's name was James Cornish. It also makes me think of Garrett Morgan, who invented the gas mask. People like Louis Latimer, also people like Sarah Elizabeth Good. There's so many different people that paved the way for us, more than Martin Luther King or Rosa Parks. And so it's really nice to sometimes reflect and think about all of the good that has happened within our culture. Also, one of the things that I have noticed is that when it comes to Black people as a whole creating or doing anything that's great, oftentimes it's erased from our history books, or it's not really something that is given much of a focus on. And my journey right now in my life is not one that is of any particular color. I am a Black female in America, and I live my life to be the best person that I can be, and I'm on my spiritual journey and becoming my authentic self. And I did want to not ignore the question of what I felt or what was my opinion about Black history. I do think it's something good, and I feel like some people are possibly intimidated of it. And if you know anyone or have friends or family that is within another culture, no matter what culture it is, you do want to take interest in it and learn about it and at least know something about it. And you don't have to feel intimidated, threatened, or anything like that. It's 1 month out of 12 months in a year. That is my opinion. I'm not sure if I answered your question. I tried to do the best that I could in answering it. I do believe that we have so many people that are doing so many good things within our culture, and it does spill over to other cultures and everyone gets to benefit from it. So I do think it's a great thing. So basically what we all learn in school is his story. And what Black history does is share our story instead of his story. So that's what it's all about here on Authentic Talks. To be honest with you, there's no color lines. We welcome all people, but I did have to acknowledge the fact that it was Black History Month and answered that question that was asked of me. If you guys have more questions of me, please feel free to email me at authenticshante@gmail.com. All right, you guys, next. So my husband sent our niece a message through Instagram asking her what was her opinion of Black History Month, because we wanted to know, like, from family members as well. Karim, up next, we have my husband, Scott.
So I reached out to my niece, Kareem Johnson, whom I grew up with, to get her input on Black History Month. She's in Korea teaching them English and has a very insightful views on different things. So I want to get her input. So this is what she gave me. For me, Black history means that the grandness of the Black existence is whittled into sound bites, trivia, and fun facts. It means that our history unto present is still not incorporated into the great context. It's nice to know, but without putting it into context of the entire picture, it is not as impactful. As a person teaching abroad, I want to share those anecdotal stories, achievements, and etc., but they're meaningless without context. Some of us may have context to surround George Washington Carver's contributions, but most don't. So the grandiose accomplishments by this Black man at that time in those circumstances, with the injustices that hide and still aren't discussed, at least by those who need to have those discussions.
All right, thank you so much. That was my husband Scott reading what Karim Johnson, our niece, sent us all the way from Korea. Next up, we have Anna from Listen Up and Read sharing her opinion of what Black History Month means to her. Stay tuned. Here's Anna coming right up.
I think we're Black all year, and Black History Month is just our anniversary. It's a celebration of our untold and unsung heroes of, the civil rights movement and just how we got here. We have had everything thrown at us, and we still turn all of that into culture. And I posted something recently, and I was like, they gave us the scraps and we made them delicious. And talking about soul food and just how resilient we are as a people. I think Black History Month is a great month to just celebrate that.
All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this special edition of Authentic Talks. I hope that helps to understand my perspective of Black History Month and what it means to me. And we were able to share Anna from Listen Up and Read, as well as Taquala from Beyond BHS. You can find both ladies on Instagram and be on the lookout. I have shows that they will be on where it's a full episode, and they will provide all of their information and how you can find both of the ladies. Special thank you to Karim for sending us an email or a message with her opinion of what Black History Month means to her. We do appreciate that so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Shanta with Authentic Talks.